What's up, everybody? Welcome to the fifth episode of Kingdomvzn. Today, I got a special guest. Introduce yourself to the people.
What's going on? What's going on, man? I'm Isaiah Jean, and first of all, I just want to say, man, I appreciate you, bro, for allowing me to be on here and be here with the people.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Nah, it should be a good episode right here. I got a good feeling about this one, but we're gonna get right into it. So, what question should I start with? All right, so the first question is a little deep. So like, do you think that believers, like, in a way, get taken advantage of a lot? And like, when I say believers, I mean like, not just believers, but like nice people in general, I guess is like another way to put it.
Absolutely. Do I think? I mean, like you said, man. I don't think it's confined to believers. I think that's something that happens to everyone in life, right? Like, especially when you're a kind person, it's easy to take advantage of someone who doesn't really, who's not really combative, who's not really confrontational. And I think that kind of it allows us to continue to be human in a way to where, like, we realize that we're not exempt from, the world's challenges or the problems that the world has as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's really my take on that.
Cause yeah, like even Jesus like faced the same challenges. So like that's what I always remind myself, like just because like we're not exempt from facing the same challenges in a way. I mean, but we're not gonna like face it like getting hung on a cross and things like that, like nothing that's barbaric, but like we're gonna come across those same like situations in a way.
Absolutely. I agree 100%, bro.
I was about to go to the next question, but I just thought of like something else. So like, and how could I put this? Like, how do you think? What makes you like stay, like kind of disciplined in that? Like I'm sure you felt like you've been taken advantage of before, but like what helps you to continue to be a good person? I guess you know what I'm saying. Like after you get taken advantage of at times.
Man, I think it really comes down to really just what my intentions are as the person itself, because I don't really do things for anything in return. You know what I mean? Like, I've always been someone that had a major just genuine heart for people, passion and a love for people. So even in the times where like I may have been taken advantage of, I don't really look at it like that. I mean, from the grand scheme of things, that's probably what it is, but I don't look at it like that because, I know that it's deeper than, what's displayed. There's something that might have happened in that person's life that, may have put them in a position where they feel like, they have to take advantage, or maybe they're not doing it on purpose, but it's in them to take advantage of people, and like I said, back to me, like I've always been a giver anyway. So because my intent was to give and only give, not giving to receive something in return, regardless of what that person did, that really didn't have any effect on me at all. So, I continue to stay in that realm of, being someone who loves on people, being someone that gives to people, and, being empathetic as well. I think, being able to understand, someone else's perspective allows me to not, fault anyone else for what it is that person probably has done wrong.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot of people can't like see past like the affliction in the ways what I'm saying. Like somebody does something bad, they just look at it like oh, this person did me wrong. Like I'm not gonna like mess with them. But that's good that you can see like past that in a way and see like deeper than like what they're saying, like pretty much. Well, I just made a video about that actually not too long ago. Like I was just laying down one day and I was like sometimes, what do I say? Like sometimes, like when you're following Jesus, you're gonna feel used, but you can't but you gotta remember that you're being used for His glory. So like once I just remember that, I was like, yeah, like you said, you just gotta remember that like you're just a good person and like what you're doing it for, like just out of the the kindness of your heart. So and that's definitely a bar right there.
Yeah, bro.
Next question is, like, did you notice a difference when you began like following Jesus in a way, or like when your faith like began to grow?
Did I notice a difference in myself?
Or not, like, oh yeah, like yourself and in like other people. I guess like what I mean by that is like when my relationship with Jesus grew some more, like what you said in the last thing, I started to see like people differently. Like I wouldn't, if somebody took advantage of me, I would be like, oh, maybe they're acting like this because their background, or like maybe they like something happened in the past, and like they're not really acting like that towards me. They're acting like that because like it'd be like a trauma response in a way. So like, did you feel like your perspective changed in a way, like you was able to like see people differently?
Absolutely, bro. I think when we take the lens, when we borrow from, I won't say take the lenses, but when we borrow from the lenses of God, of course your perspective on people changes. Like you said, bro, it's maybe that person is that way because of the way that they grew up, the way that their mom probably told them things, or their father probably told them things. And like it's so much deeper than what's shown, one, but two, how has my perspective changed? Like I said, being able to really borrow from the lenses of God, man. You're able to start to realize that, because we're made in his image, we're all expressing his mind, our own ways. It's dependent on where we are, where we're located, what family we grew up in, what environment we were in, the people that are around us, things like that, the things that we experience on a day-to-day life. So, I'm not so caught up in my lenses alone, because I know that my sight is very limited. I could only see as far as these natural eyes at least will take me. But if I start to, look at it from God's perspective, and then, I'm realizing that, he made each and every one of us unique. You know what I mean? Like everybody's different in their own way, creative in their own way. Now my view on people is changed from the point of like, man, that's an extension of what God is. And I think it's beautiful because, I think that maturity lies in being able to see different perspectives and not just your own.
Mm-hmm. See, man, I knew this was about to be a good interview. Nah, you saying the exact same things I was saying, like seeing things through God's perspective. Like that's what I like on TikTok. Like that's what I have in the bio. Like you things through God's perspective. So I definitely feel you on that. But that just made me think of another question. But like, have you been to therapy before? Like, how do you feel about like therapy?
Oh man, that's deep, bro.
The question should be like, do you think that because like in the Black community, therapy is kind of like looked down upon. I feel like some believers, they think that like, oh, if I got a problem, I just got to go to God. So like, how do you feel like therapy kind of relates to like our faith in a way?
This deep, bro, because I just had this conversation with someone not too long ago. My personal thoughts on therapy is that for people that need it, go. But that what you just said is what I say all the time. And I don't only say it because it's the cliche thing to say, but he says to cast our problems onto him, to cast our like it's hard for me to want to open up to someone that I don't have a relationship with. You know what I mean? If I hadn't developed a relationship with this person, I can't just be open to them and be vulnerable to them. It's easier for me to go to God. It's more simple for me to go to God because he knows me. He knows what I'm going through. He knows what it is that I need to hear. He knows what what my heart needs to be filled with. You know what I mean? And what better way than to be solved than by the creator of us? You know what I mean? But that's not to say that therapy is not great. I think that therapy is amazing. I think for the people that actually do go and like they really take it serious, of course, because you got people that just go to therapy just to say they do it. But for the people that do go and they actually like they really take it seriously, I've seen tremendous amount of growth and just I've seen the results. I've seen fruit in their lives because they were able to go to someone to really talk about what it is that they're going through, what it is that they probably have been through. But I know that the answers for me, man, it's in God. And because I keep it that way, I personally don't have to go to therapy. But like I said, man, I think it's amazing, and more people should be open to it than not, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So like you said something that kind of like stood out to me in a way. So like you said that like it's kind of hard for you to open up to like people you don't really have like a relationship in a way. So you feel like that's maybe or like that's the reason why like you feel like you don't need therapy in a way. Cause like you feel like it would be hard to like open up to somebody like you don't know like that.
I mean, absolutely. Like I'm a paint a scenario for you, bro. Like imagine, like think about a relationship, right? A relationship is something that, like, the foundation of a relationship is trust. You know what I mean? Without trust, the relationship is not. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't even exist, right? But trust is not something that you can obtain or you like from my perspective. I can just give to a person, off bat. You know what I mean? Because trust is developed over time. And over that time is a period of saying a few things, but actually following through with what was said as well. You know what I mean? That actually proved that what they were talking about was true. So, in that case, yeah, because if I don't know someone, I'm gonna look at them like, bro, you know what I mean? You don't know me. You don't know what I come from. You're not, and oftentimes therapists are not, I'll say, oftentimes they don't meet the criteria, or they don't match me, right? They're probably not a Black young male. You know what I mean? They're probably not, they probably haven't gone through what I've gone through, right? They probably haven't grew up in a single parent home, so it's kind of hard to be vulnerable with someone that, like I said, you don't have trust in. And, I've just grown fond to believe that, if I just place my trust in him and God, then this is, like I said, this is just, I'm only speaking for Isaiah Jean. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to be like, hey, he said not to go to therapy. I could just go to God and he gonna handle it.
I don't think you said that at all.
But me personally, I haven't had to. So that's why, of course, I don't think I had to go to therapy for that reason. My trust is in him, and because that's the case, it's gonna allow me to be at peace through whatever it is that I'm going through.
No, I definitely understand that. But I just want to say like another thing to that, because like I kind of felt that way before too. Like why would I tell like a therapist? It's like they don't know me, they don't have my background and things like that. But I guess what kind of changed my mind was I feel like with certain people I could sense like an energy in a way. And I guess it's the best way to describe it without going too far off track, because I actually had like an encounter with the Holy Spirit a week ago actually. So I was just laying down, I was praying about somebody, like kind of randomly, like I wasn't even thinking about it, but someone was like, I know, I just started praying for me. So I'm sitting on my bed, I'm praying, and then like I rarely cry. Like I probably cried like 3 times in the past maybe like 10 years. So I'm sitting down, and then I'm praying, and I was in a good mood, and then I'm just sitting there praying, and then something just came over me like, dang, this person is feeling like really bad, like something really bad happened. So then I just started praying. I opened my eyes, and then I was starting to. I didn't cry, but like my eyes was getting like kind of teary, like that never happened before. Like I felt like I was like really feeling what the other person was feeling at the time. And then someone told me to like pray for them. I ended up sending them like 3 paragraphs of like what I felt like the Lord was telling me. And they didn't, but someone was telling me they wouldn't like really confirm it, but like the Lord was telling me like, nah, they like understood it pretty much. So like I say all that to say like with therapists, I felt like how you felt like I need somebody that like kind of can relate to me. So that's why I got like a black therapist. I didn't get like a male therapist, but I got like a black female therapist, and she was a Christian as well, so she was a believer, and I felt like the first conversation we had, like I could just like trust her, and she like she was seeing things through like God's perspective, pretty much. And like me, I'm not like I don't want to say I got trust issues. I used to have trust issues, but like speaking to her, she kind of like brought that out in me. So I gotta say all that to say like, do you ever feel like, I don't want to say do you ever feel, 'cause I feel like you do feel like with certain people, like you can sense like an energy, but I just want to say that, I guess, like, right, I guess like some certain therapists you'll be able to like trust, you'll know when you can trust them pretty much. Like you know when you can like trust certain people.
I agree.
Say that.
I agree 100%. You know, man, that's a dope story.
Oh,
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, it was
three occasions of crying in 10 years, bro.
Yeah, it might have been no more than 5, but yeah, because another time was that like I was I don't think I wrote that down at the point, but I spoke about that in the last podcast. I never went to this one church again because I started crying in church. It was on Easter Sunday. Like the play was just so good. Like I guess yeah, the Holy Spirit just came over me. I started crying. I had like my girl sitting next to me. I was like, dang, this is bad. I had to walk out. I went to like the hallway, was crying in the hallway, came back. I was sitting down like, dang, yeah, I'm not coming back.
He's not coming back.
No, it sounds kind of bad, but yeah, I never went back after that.
Oh man.
That's
hilarious, bro.
But yeah, I'm gonna go to the next question real quick. But now it seems like you pretty like open-minded about therapy though. So I just wanted to say like that or bring up that point as well.
Yeah, man, definitely. You know, I understand how possible God is, man. So I never like shut the door on anything, especially that's like beneficial in the lives of people. And that's what I'm for. That's what I stand for. So, you know, I always leave a few ends loose just in case God wants to enter that realm, that time, that's whatever time of season he wants me to enter that place, then, you know, I'm all for it.
Yeah. That actually makes you think of another question, like how important do you think it is to like be open to other ways of like receiving like guidance from the Lord pretty much?
How important do I think it is? Bro, I think it is very important. Like, if not all the way. It says that, you know, it is impossible to please God without faith. And with faith, bro, there's no real one path. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one way of doing things in terms of how to go about navigating through life. Of course, when it falls under, you know, having yielded your life to you know, Jesus Christ. But, you know, because of how possible God is, it would be tough for you to, you know, be closed-minded to certain situations or certain scenarios, because now God is limited in terms of how he could actually work in your life.
Exactly.
Like imagine having like set the criteria that, or I can't, and I'm just going to use this as an example, right? I can't overcome this health report that is going, that's going on, that's, maybe not favorable. I can't overcome it unless my pastor helps me, or my pastor is the one that prays for me. What if your pastor's not available at that time? You know what I mean? What if it has to be someone like a Sedaris, or, whoever the case may be, to pray for you in order to, cast away that health report that you don't want. So setting limitations on ourselves, I think is bad. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it limits God in terms of how he goes about ensuring the manifestation of the greatness or the promises that he's given us for our lives.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's important, bro.
Yeah, sure. But I'm glad you said that, because that just made me think of something else. So, have you heard of this church called Elevation before?
Elevation. I feel like I have.
Yeah, so like basically with that church, it's kind of like a mega church in a way, but like, so I'm used to like growing up in like black churches for the most part, like Baptist churches, like the music, like how that music. So then when I went to Elevation, they got guitars, they got people. It seemed like you got a concert pretty much. Like that's how the atmosphere is, that's how the music is. So it was like a really big difference, and it was like an adjustment in a way. And at first, I didn't want to go again. I was like, "Damn, I'm coming into this church. I feel like I'm at a concert right now. Like, what is this? Where's all the music I'm used to listening to?" But I had to learn that like I had to look past that, because like as you said, like God can speak you through different ways. So if I'm only like receiving it in this way, then I'm missing out like on a whole different perspective. So I'm glad you said that, because it's really important that like as believers, we're not being like locked in on this one way of receiving like God's word. It's a good point, right?
Yeah, bro.
So my next question is, like, who in the Bible do you think like fits your personality the most? Because I haven't even thought of that question myself, to be honest.
God, this is crazy for a lot of reasons. Because for me personally, I'm gonna give you my cliche answer, but then I'm gonna give you who I think it most fit like before who I've become today. But right now, I would, bro, and this is in no way, shape, or form am I comparing myself or putting myself on the same level. I'm just saying personality wise, Jesus Christ, bro.
That's good though, because we should try to be like, or like aspire to be like
exactly. He said Paul told us to be Christ-like. So, that answer is not bad. It's not a bad answer. But the reason why Jesus I most resonate with him at this point in my life today is because of one, who I've developed into, but two, of my and I think this is really number one, who like what my real genuine passion and love for people has become. Like, bro, it's always been something for me where like I loved people. Like since I was a kid, I loved people. But as I've grown older and I've come into, we'll just say, some success in different areas in my life, it's definitely made me want to help more people out. See people's lives turn from, it maybe looking like it's, or maybe feeling like it's hopeless. People thinking that, there's no way out, or, how can things, change from, where it is that I am today, to seeing them go to a place of believing, to see them go into a place of peace, to a place of where, maybe every day is not it's not peaches and cream, because we'll be lying to say that's the case. But even on the days where it's not as great, having that peace, you know what I mean? Having that state of bliss every single day. So Jesus for sure. But before that, before I've developed into the person that I am today, I'll say Abraham, bro. When he was Abram. Because my biggest challenge in my faith walk has been patience. Like, that's been the biggest challenge for me. And there's been plenty of things that I've been believing God for. But the reason why I say Abraham is, when you think about his story, right? And what he had to overcome to get to the promise. All that was just a test of his faith, a test of how patient are you? How much are you really believing for what it is that I have in store for you? And I mean, bro, like, imagine having to leave your comfort zone, having to go to Egypt because you was driven out of your, where you were, because there was a food shortage, and then your wife get like taken away from Pharaoh. Right? Your wife basically get kidnapped, and not to mention he had a falling out with his nephew. Like, all of these things, I look back and those things haven't happened to me exactly, but I look at those things, I'm like, man, like that is a direct reflection of how my life was and still is like, where I've had to go through major challenges, major changes as well. And through it all, I'm like, man, God, like, you know what I mean? I know you said this was about to happen, but bro, I'm looking at my situation like, where is that? You know what I mean? I've been through enough already, but that's how we feel, because we're going through it, from our perspective. And I remember the scripture in the Bible where it talks about how Abram questioned God, and he was like, basically looking at what he was going through, and he was like, listen, how am I gonna have a kid? I'm 75 years old, so that don't work how it used to. You know what I mean? My wife can't have children. I just went through all this. What do you mean I'm gonna have a kid? Where is that? So I viscerally felt that. I viscerally felt, having seen what you're going through right now, but it may be trouble to have that patience. So, before now, definitely Abram, but now, at this place in my life, for sure, Jesus.
Nah, that's a good answer right there, but yeah, I was thinking something. Let me just start from the first one when you said Jesus. So, like, do you feel like Jesus is kind of like calling you to be a light right now? Like,
is he calling me to be a light?
Yeah, like, what I mean by that is, like, you mentioned that, like, you just enjoy like helping people, like you generally like enjoy helping people and like showing them like another way. So you feel like Jesus is kind of like calling you to be a light. And the part of the reason I say that is because I felt like when the Holy Spirit came over me, like I felt like Jesus was telling me to like be a light, like not only to that person, but I felt like he was calling me to like start this little like podcast as well to basically like be a light. So you feel like Jesus is like making you like be a light right now, pretty much?
Yeah, 100%, bro. I don't think we'd be here right now if that wasn't the case. Yeah. Because it's just like that. My heart existed before my body did. Yeah. And knowing that now is what gives me full just range to like really take I made a decision this year, at the beginning of this year, to live every day purposely. So I would hope that everyone that is that at least has a heart the way that you do, the way that some would say that I do as well. I would hope that everybody really took heed to it, because there's darkness in this world, bro. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to call it out because a lot of things have become accepted. I won't specify what I'm talking about, but because a lot of things have been accepted, man, you know, what's been accepted is, you know, even though it's dark, you know, it's not even looked at as such. Yeah. You know, so I think like you, bro, even having a platform like this to go ahead and, you know, share with the world, allow people to get glimpses of the greatness of God, the goodness of God, of light itself, right? Is so important, man. It's so important. And, you know, definitely God, you know, is using me to be a light in this world, because he knows where my heart is, you know, and the same way that it was with Moses, you know, he was willing to go through those 400 plus years of, you know, slavery to find that one heart that he knew he could use to, you know, do what it is that he needed to do in the lives of people. And I think that's the same thing with you, bro. I think, you know, like I said, these things don't happen by coincidence. That's why when I met you, you know, even when we first got on the phone, the first time we ever got on the phone, there was an instant like, I've heard this before. I don't know you, like we've never met before, even in person, but we speak the same language. You know what I mean? And it's important for us to now go out into the world and share this language with, you know, everybody else to you know, light up what's been darkened.
Good. Well, nah, it's crazy that you said Moses, because that's who, like, I feel like I can relate to in the Bible the most in a way. Even though I try to like model myself after Jesus, I feel like just being honest, like still just right now, I feel like Moses like fits me more than like where I am in my faith right now than Jesus, because I don't really struggle with anger. My thing is more so like the patience in a way, and like you know what once he got, what am I trying to say? Like once he got to the once he received, what was it, the commandments that he once he got that, like my memory kind of bad, but like he got mad at other people, like pretty much. Like he reached a certain point, he was trying to bring people with him. And like sometimes like that's what I try to do. I try to like bring people with me. And it's like you reach a certain point, and like you get frustrated, and then like that's when he like just smashed the commands and things like that.
Yeah. Bro, like imagine having parted the Red Sea, and then the people seen this. Yeah. And they still don't believe. They looking at you like, nah, like, bro, that's insane to me.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's how I was kind of feeling, like not just like that, so like that one as well when you part of the Red Sea, and just like being able to walk out on faith like that as well. Like, cause I was thinking like if I was in his shoes and I was running away from like who they running away from, I had to like approach the Red Sea, and then like God say, oh, you lift this up, it's gonna just part. Like that takes a lot of faith. But I feel like in a way, like I do things like that seems like kind of radical in a way. So I feel like me and Moses, we kind of like relate on a lot of things. But you said something else that really stood out, that was kind of deep, that I don't want people to like look over. You said that your heart existed before your body. And like what I think you said then, like what I kind of took from that was like you're basically saying that like you knew who you were before you were like in the position that you're in right now. And I feel like that's important, because like a lot of times, and I feel like for a lot of believers, like once God puts us in a certain position, like sometimes some of us like lose sight of who we were in a way. So that's just cool to see that like you just stay like consistent like along the whole way, because like God, he can take things away like as quick as he brings them. So like that's just good that like you're able to stay like focused and things like that. So like what do you think helps you to like remain focused and like not allow like your ego to get you in a way?
Two things, bro. One, I know who the source is. Yeah. I'm not the source. So like while people may look at me, and these are people that really know me, of course, But while some people may look at me and be like, oh man, that man has maybe accomplished some things and done well in certain areas in his life, or like for whatever it is that they see in my life that is great, that is good. You know, I'm not the source of it. You know, I'm just the body that holds on to it, you know, while for the time that I am here. So one, know who the source is, but two, never forget where I come from. Bro, I come from what people would deem as the bottom of the bottom, bro. You know, growing up, my mom, not my mom, my grandmother came here. She was 26, 27. And my grandmother is, she's from Haiti, right? So it's not literate in English at all, right? She can't read, can't write, like at least at a high level. She's a citizen. She's a citizen now. God, you know, thank you, God. But having you know seen that, having seen the trials that my grandmothers went through being an immigrant here in the United States. You know, same thing with my mom. My mom wasn't born here as well, you know, but my mom caught the, you know, the tail end of that not being born in the US because she was able to grow up here. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, bro, I gotta like cut you off real quick. Like, I'm gonna have to open up another link because it's about to like cut off in like 30 seconds. So I'm gonna have to open up another link real quick. We can probably use the same. I just gotta like reopen the Zoom link.
Wait, say that one more time.
Like the Zoom, like my Zoom account, it cuts off after 40 minutes. So we're gonna have to like just open another like link, like the same one. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
So I'm about to. You can just go into the same one again, then we can just pick up from there.
All right.
All right.
All right. So yeah. Don't forget who the source is and never forget where you came from, right? Or remember who the source is, never forget where you came from. You know, so I know God is the source of all good things in my life. But you know, on the other hand, you know, never forgetting where I came from. I know where I was when, you know, I read the book, The 7 Laws You Must Honor to Have Uncommon Success. I remember where I was when, you know, I first opened the Bible. You know, I remember my first real, like, my cognitive decision of like, I'm going to read this word by myself and for my own understanding. I remember these things. And at those times in my life, things were tough. You know, things weren't always favorable. And for that reason, it allows me to continue to always reflect back to what was. And when you can do that, you know, it allows you to not look at things as, you know, like they're mine, you know, because ultimately they're not, they're gifts. And, you know, gifts, oftentimes we take like not advantage of them, but we take them for granted. You know what I mean? And, you know, because I'm aware that this gift is not something that I got alone, but was given to me. Like I said, my heart existed before my body did. You know, I treasure that. And the reason why is because God could have given it to anyone else. You know, he could have said, hey, look, man, listen, Darius, I got you. Isaiah, nah, man, I'm going to give it to Samuel, or I'm going to give it to Janelle. You know, he could have very well have given this heart that I have to someone else. So I always thank him for that. Probably the thing that I thank him for the most, because it's what allowed me to now live life according to what what my purpose is, and it's to positively impact the lives of 1 billion families for God and with God.
Well, I think that quote that you said that your heart exists before your body, that's gonna be something that people gonna really like gravitate to. I think. Cause I'm gonna steal that quote too. Cause that's
you got it, bro.
Yeah, that's a really deep quote right there. But Yeah, I feel like the Holy. I was about to ask another question, but I feel like the Holy Spirit is telling me to bring up this story again. This is my third time bringing up the story, so this kind of goes back to discipline. So I don't even think we talked about this topic yet. So basically, like I feel like I have a lot of discipline. Like that's a gift that God's given me. But so like this one day, like 2 days ago, one of my friends was like yo, Sedaris, you're gonna come across like some girls that's gonna try to distract you and take you like off your purpose, pretty much. So I was like really? And I was like, yeah, I kind of been sensing that in a way. So then like there was this girl in particular I was talking to, and then I sensed that she was a distraction, but this I'm just being honest, she didn't look so good. I was like, maybe I'm gonna just take that risk, like pretty much. So,
Hey, man, we human. You
yeah,
know what I
like we
mean?
human, like yeah, it be like that sometimes, but I was still remaining disciplined. But then I just thought like, let me mention God at her and see like what her reaction is. Then like after that, then I'll know like if I should keep like entertaining her pretty much. So then one day I just asked her like, "What's your name on the Bible app?" Like randomly, and then her response was, fat pussy, fat pussy." And then yeah, she said that, and then after I said that, I was like, I was caught off guard, but then I just sent like the thinking emoji, like, are you serious right now? And then she
Hey,
was
bro,
like,
hold up.
yeah.
Wait. I was not expecting
Yeah,
that.
I was not expecting that either, but yeah, she was. I was like, "What's your name on the Bible app?" And she said, "Fat pussy," and I was like, "Yeah, I think this chapter is closed." But then,
Oh, man.
like, she said I was still trying to get a name, but she just wasn't like she wasn't even thinking like that. So now I was like, "Yeah, she gonna get me like distracted pretty much." So
Oh,
I
Lord.
guess the Lord wanted me to bring that up to say that like you just gotta like remain disciplined and like whenever you're like the enemy or whenever you're like reaching places that like the Lord's trying to take you, you're gonna come across distractions pretty much. So I guess that's my question. Like when you started like walking into your purpose and things like that, did you sense like distractions or people trying to like take you like off track and like how did you like kind of deal with it?
Bro, distractions are magnified when you're walking in your purpose.
Yeah.
When you have a mission, when there's something that needs to be done, the distractions are very like they're on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, depending on what it is that you're actually in pursuit of, depending on what the goal, what the vision actually is, will determine how big, how great the distraction will be as well. You know, so definitely I've encountered a lot of them, you know. Even right now, there's something that I'm looking forward to in my life by the end of this year that I'm believing God for. And bro, you know what has been going on in this time has definitely showed me like, all right, that's why it's important to stay focused. But how do I? Let me see here. So I'm gonna take you on a little trip. All right, give me 1 second. So for me, bro, I've learned how to literally set up my environment in my house to where I see where it is that I'm going all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To where now, even if distractions show up, I'm not necessarily focused on that because I'm seeing the promise. So give me 1 second. So right here on my desk, which I come to not almost, but every day, right? I have a promise here that, you know, that God has set in place for me. If you go in my closet right here, same thing. All right, where I put the vision in front of me to where now, no matter where it is that I go inside my house,
Like
I'm always, huh?
they always reminding of it.
Exactly, right? right here in the bathroom. It's right above the light. Right here on the mirror, you can't really see it well, but you know, right here I got the promise in front of me, but it's literally everywhere, right? I've set up an environment to where now, even when like I said, even when distractions showed up, they're glaring, but they're not to the point where like I'm not gonna be focused on what it is that I'm going for because I already see it. But like, even if I wish I could blur this out. I think I can. Let me see if I can.
Nah, that's a good idea though, because I was just thinking like that's kind of like always having like an eye watching like wherever you go, pretty much.
Yeah, but look, even little things like this, right? A book named Glory right ahead of me. So like whether I'm consciously seeing it or not, but you know, I'm looking that direction anyway, and I'm strategically putting it in places to where I'm going to be. I'm actually going to go. So where no matter if I'm consciously seeing it, I'm already receiving the promise anyway. And this what allowed me to, you know, not too much focus on distractions and live life like, all right, this is what it is that I have to do, you know. And I'll give you one quick one quick little one. In my wallet, I carry my life's purpose with me in my wallet, right? To positively impact the lives of 1 billion people. Because he said, write the vision and make it plain so who sees it will run, right? And in order for me to take action towards what it is that I want, right? He says, so who sees it will run. Meaning that if I do not see it, I will not take action. I will not run. So I have to put it up everywhere. And I've put it even in my wallet to where no matter where I go, because I got to grab money out of my wallet, I see the promise. I see the vision. And the vision is so.
Can you say what verse in the Bible that is? Like just for the people listening. I remember. I forgot what verse that was. Like the write a vision and make it plain.
That's Habakkuk 2, verse 2.
Yeah, you said that when we was on the call too before. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So just that, man, and I'll be able to purposely take action towards what it is that I'm seeing all the time because, you know, so who sees it will run. And I think that is also like a shot to God as well, almost in a sense of like, you know, he sees that I'm very clear on what I want. So because he knows it's the desire of my heart, then, you know, he has no problem also aligning me with, you know, the right people, the right environments, the right situations to go ahead and have it come to pass as well.
Yeah, sure. But nah, that's like a life hack and like a faith hack. Just having so like wherever you walk, like you just being reminded of that pretty much. That's something I gotta do because like something I currently do to kind of stay on track to just like pray every day and just read my Bible every day. But like seeing things like always like that and just being reminded of it, like that kind of leaves like no room for error because you're gonna think like you're gonna turn to your right, you're gonna turn to your left, you're gonna see
it's literally right there. Exactly.
Yeah, so like you can't avoid it pretty much. But I feel like the Holy Spirit's telling me to like ask like some more questions because I really got like 5 more. Like we would probably be on for another couple of hours if I did that. But yeah, so we probably gonna have to have a part 2 like to this, like at another time where I just got like 2 more questions.
Absolutely, man. I'm all for it.
And what 2 questions should I? I'm gonna do the one that's on my mind right now. So, last time we saw you say you played basketball before. So, like, have you ever? This could go like in life as well. Have you ever had to deal with like, I don't want to say adversity, but yeah, like adversity pretty much. I know you dealt with adversity. I was about to say like an injury in a way because like for me, I broke my wrist like 2 weeks ago. And like something that like a lot of people struggle with, that are like athletes and things like that, like they face injuries and they allow that to like affect their faith pretty much and like lose it all together. So like how do you think that you were able to like maintain your faith like despite facing adversity, pretty much.
I would like to answer this first with a question, right? The first part of that with the question. If you had, so all right, everyone has something that they do, right? That they are good at. Maybe it's a career that they're in pursuit of. Like maybe it's, someone that might watch this that want to be a basketball player or is in route to doing that. Maybe there's someone that's watching this that, I don't know, wants to be a nurse or whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you want to do in your life. The question that I want to ask is what you're doing defining who you are? And if that's the case, then there has to be some reevaluation of who you actually are. Because if that thing was taken away from you, then what would you do? Who would you be at that point? You know what I mean? What took place for me in my life, and I'm fortunate to have realized this at such a young age. I'm glad that I didn't make the league. One, because I didn't play basketball long enough to, go on to college and do amazing things and then, go to the NBA. And not to mention, I'm 6 foot even. You know what I mean? It's a very slim chance that a 6 foot even, 170-pound dude is gonna make the NBA. You got to be really, really good to do that. But fortunately for me, I never had something that I really attached myself to all the way growing up. And I know there's a lot of people that do. Some people, like I said, basketball players, you got barbers, you got all different types of things. But God gave you a gift, right? Before he gave you the ability to do, the things that you're able to do, he gave you a gift, right? And because that's the case, we have to hone in on what that gift is first. Because that gift is what will now make way for everything else in our lives. So, the adversity, when it shows up, I don't look at it like, oh man, this is working against me, because it's only impairing what I do. You know what I mean? Like, it's only taking a hit to, if I play basketball and I broke my hand, God forbid, it's only impairing what it is that I do. It's not impairing the gift that I have. The gift that I have is making a difference in the lives of people. The gift that I have is, helping the lives of people transform from a place of doubt, from a place of unbelief to a place of believing, to the place of knowing who it is that is orchestrating, this whole thing anyway. And because that is the case, when adversity shows up, I don't look at it like this is happening against me. It's happening in my favor. It's actually magnifying the gift that I have. So long after me being able to do the thing, I'll still be able to, I still have the gift. I still have the ability to go ahead and transform lives. That's why I love Kobe. Because while Kobe understood that you have to give your all to basketball, when he got injured and he tore his Achilles, he had to realize that, oh man, basketball is not all that there is. Ball is not life. That's why I love your brand, bro. God is life. He is, because, when basketball ends, what else is there to do? So that means you die after you're not playing basketball anymore.
No, it's crazy that you saying all that, because exactly what you're saying is exactly why I started God is Life and why I even brought up the question. Because like you said, the first thing you said was did that define your identity pretty much? Like you didn't say that exactly, but like I'm paraphrasing. Like you said, did that define your identity? And like for a really long time, I felt like basketball was life. But then one day I was like, nah, basketball ain't life. Like God is life. But even after I realized that God was life, I still didn't see myself past basketball. It took me getting injured and things not going my way to realize that I'm capable of doing more than just basketball. And that helped me to see my identity and see yeah, you could play basketball, but God also gave you a gift to do this and that. So if things would have happened the way I wanted it to, I would have missed out on a whole different side of what God wanted me to do.
Talk about it.
It's crazy that you bring up Kobe too. It's not Kobe. Like that was my favorite player growing up. So like when I saw my Achilles, I was like, dang, Kobe, like he had to do the same thing pretty much. But I always looked at it as like it wasn't something that was preventing me. It was something that like God causes all things to work like together for your good. So I felt like even with my like broken wrist, I was like, nah, this is just like preparing me for where he's taking me next. So yeah, I definitely like feel you on that. You just gotta have like that perspective that you were talking about. Like always be. It's not even just being optimistic. Like God really is just like causing. You can cause everything to work for your good. So
yeah, man.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of believers like need to like realize that as well. That's why I like to tell like a lot of like younger kids like you're capable of doing like more than just like one thing. So you shouldn't just focus on this one thing. Like pretty much, yeah, God gives us like a lot of gifts. So.
I agree 100%. And then, bro, to end it, to cap that off, it's a way of looking at adversity instead of like, like, oh man, I gotta be bogged down about what's going on. You look at it as an opportunity to grow and become more, become better. Because I think that's what's lacking is because we think we can't become, it'll have a direct reflection in the having of whatever it is that we actually want as well. So, I love that. I love what you just said there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's all about like growth, pretty much. Like a lot of times when adversity hits, like people think like that's it. Like I'm at the bottom. Like I can't get past this. But like nah, like when you're weak, God is strong. So we just always gotta remember that whenever like it was a quote like whenever we hit like rock bottom, like I'll post this like oh when you hit rock bottom, that's building your foundation pretty much. So like, you gotta remember. Like whenever we get like low, that's when our foundation is being built. Well,
I love that.
But the last question, what you saying? Oh, I thought you was about to like say something else. I thought I cut you off.
Nah, you good, bro.
But yeah. So the last point I got, yeah, I actually didn't write this. I feel like the Holy Spirit is telling me to ask different questions than I wrote down. This happened last time too. But my last question is like, do you deal with like insecurities while like following what the Lord like wants you to do? And I guess I could start with me. Like some things that I kind of deal with sometimes. It might sound funny. So like I make videos a lot, and like videos, like sometimes when I make videos, I'm like, dang, I didn't realize my forehead was this big. And then I can record a whole video, be like, nah, I don't like the way my hairline looks. Nah, my wave's not showing. Like this, you just deal with like a lot of things, and we can allow like our insecurity sometimes to like talk us out of like having faith pretty much. So like how do you like deal with that when like you feel like the Holy Spirit's leading you to do so?
Ah, man. We could go back to what we talked about earlier, man. I go back to Moses. He had a speech problem.
That's another thing. Yeah, like I have a stuttering problem in a way as well. So I was like that's why I relate like Moses to me a lot.
I don't know, man. Like for me, I mean, maybe I've just been blessed for sure. I have been blessed, but I don't know. I don't have insecurities. I did, for the longest time. I used to, I was shorter than what I am now, bro. So you got to think, like growing through high school and being 5'7", 5'8", you know what I mean? Looking at everybody be tall, wanting to play basketball. I guess that was a insecurity of mine. And I mean, I don't know. Like I've been fortunate enough to have in my life, throughout my entire life, people around me that ensured me that I was amazing, that I was doing well, that I was great, that there was greatness on the inside of me. From the very get-go, man, like even like in starting in school, they told me that I was gifted. So my insecurities didn't really come until, I started to look at other people, and they would make me feel bad about what I didn't have, or inadequate in a way. But because I had the nurturing mom that I had, because I had, like I said, the family, the support system that I had, it didn't really affect me as much. So how did I deal with it? Or let me think. Do I have an insecurity today in my life? I can't think of one, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
That's good though. That could just mean that you're like you're ignoring them, like in a way, like you're not allowing them to affect you. Like you said, because when you have like the affirmation everywhere, you're not going to be able to see the negative stuff like as much, because you got positive around you so much. So
yeah, I mean, how would I deal with it though? Like if it was impairing my faith, you know what I mean, I would do exactly what I do, and just like, even if the people are not around to ensure you, like, because not everyone's, I wouldn't say blessed, but not everyone is fortunate enough to be in a position where they have people around them that are affirming to them positive things and stuff like that. But that is the very reason why I made the decision to put up those things around me. I don't believe in a vision board, bro. I believe in a vision environment. And my vision environment is conducive to my life, because like I said, it's always showing me who I am. It's not like, when you're focused on who you're becoming, when you're focused on who you're growing into, you don't really have time to focus on what you lack in. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're only, I'll say this, you're only looking at the things that you're insecure about right now because you're comparing yourself to who you could actually be, who you'll become in the future, or someone that you already see at the levels that you want to be at, and you're comparing your life to theirs. The biggest blessing for me, man, has been knowing that everyone's time is different. Everyone's season is different, because everyone has sown at a different time than I had. If I sowed later than someone that sowed years ago, of course they're going to be reaping their harvest right now. I'm just now sowing today. You know what I mean? So is it going to be easy in the beginning, for you to not look at the things that you're probably not good at, or the things that you may not like about yourself right now? Not initially, but over time, as you continue to tell yourself what it is that you want to hear. I tell myself, bro, I'm not a billionaire yet, but I tell myself that all the time. I'm not, my faith is great.
Yeah, like as a man, as a man, it says as a man, as a man thinketh.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm gonna turn off my camera real quick. So these 6 words right here on my screen, right? That is what the translation of "as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he" means. Those 6 words right there, that's what Proverbs, I think it's Proverbs 27:3. Don't quote me on that, but I know King Solomon was the one that said it, right? You become what you think about. So I only think about what I want. I never think about what I don't want. I never think about what I'm not. I never think about what I lack in, because I don't allow for that to happen. So that's how I would deal with it. And it says faith comes by hearing. Yeah. So you have to be telling yourself this. You have to be hearing that, positive reinforcement all the time, in order for your faith to be restored, for your faith to be complete. You know what I mean? And that's what I have learned to do. So, that's really what helps me, or probably has helped me in the past. And hopefully if that can help anybody else, it will.
I know that's gonna definitely help me, because I'm gonna definitely, take that and just like start putting more things around me, and like just going along with just like speaking things to myself, like saying like, oh, you're gonna do this, like you're this, because I'm not sure if you heard of Nehemiah Davis or Neo DeViso. Yeah, like
Absolutely.
he's really big on like affirmations and saying like just speaking positively to yourself. So like I realized when you do that, like you begin to like look at things differently. So like yeah, I definitely feel you on that. You gotta like always just be positive and like speak positive to yourself because like especially nowadays, like there's so much like negative stuff in the world. Sometimes when you like constantly bringing that in, you constantly looking at the news, like
Yeah.
that's gonna reflect in your life. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that.
And
But
that's the trick, bro. Like, because the world is going to feed you something. Regardless of if you do it to yourself or not, you're going to hear something. And it says faith comes by hearing. So your trust is going to ultimately be in what it is that you're hearing the most. And if you're only hearing what the world has to offer, if you're only hearing negative news, right? CNN, constant negative news. If you're only hearing, the darkness around you, that's what you're going to have your trust in. Because like I've gotten real fanatical about it, bro. Like I'm obsessed. I'll be honest about that. Um, I call myself an obsessive believer, where I listen to the word even while I'm sleeping. I'm listening to the word all the time, but that's why it says, "Be not, conformed by the world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind."
bro, it's crazy that you say that because that's exactly how I was about to end the podcast with that verse, and that's the verse. You could probably that's the verse I got on the like on the TikTok and just for the I'm not sure if you can see it.
Give me one.
That's what I got in the Bible, like not conform to the patterns. Yeah, I don't
See,
know if you can see it, but yeah, like that's
yeah,
the
I can.
that's the like the main thing like for my podcast. Like that's the staple verse right there. Like not conform to the patterns of the world would be like transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's crazy that you just bring that up right now. Yeah, like that's like the main thing I'm trying to get people to see. Like what it says at the bottom is you gotta like view life through God's perspective. Like that's what we've been talking about. So like it's crazy how like the things we've been saying kind of been like affirming in a way. Like even you just bringing up like Moses and the speech impediment, like because I stutter a lot when I talk sometimes. So like that's like it's crazy how you bring all that up. But no, I think this was a good conversation right here. I definitely learned a lot. I think the biggest takeaway is just like when you said like you believe in like a vision environment, not a vision board. Like that's what you have, like not just for your vision, but like you got like a faith environment, like you're always surrounded by like words of affirmation. And I like how you said like when you go to sleep, you like listen to the word because like when you people don't realize that like that plays a part on your subconscious. Like when you sleeping, even though you're sleeping, like your body is still awake pretty much. Like when you constantly bring that in, like you're not allowing like any negativity to come into your brain pretty much. So yeah, I definitely learned a lot from this conversation. I definitely like appreciate you for joining us. Like for
Hey,
sure.
man. I appreciate you for having me, and I learned a lot too, bro. I learned a whole lot too. I think in these conversations that I have, and this one in particular, bro, I before I even jumped on here, I said, Holy Spirit, whoever, when they see me, they'll see you. When they hear me, they hear you. And as I'm speaking, these are things that are now, it says faith comes by hearing. So while I'm talking, I'm listening to myself like, man, like, thank you, God. And even the things that you said, bro, like, I definitely think, that therapy is something that I'm gonna take a look at, bro. Like, I've heard it too much to be closed-minded to it at this point. My mom has told me about it, my aunt, you now telling me that maybe it's something that needs to be done and, should be looked, more too in terms of like, helping people uproot some deep rooted issues that, we're not even aware that we have, and that have a major effect on our relationships with people as well. So but I mean,
now that you say, not to cut you off, but now that you say that, I think like something that may help is like if I actually told you about like my therapist that I can trust. Her name is like Miss Karima. So I can send you her information if you want, but yeah, so I had like a total of like two therapists. The first therapist I had was like through my school. I don't want to say she wasn't the I don't want to say she wasn't good, but she wasn't. I don't feel like she had a relationship with like the Lord in a way. Because I would bring up God sometimes, and like she wouldn't say anything about it. Like pretty much, it seemed like she was avoiding it. But like Miss Karima, like she thinks like on the same level that we think on. So like I tell her stuff, and she'll say something about God and just give me like a completely different perspective. So I'll give you her information. But like yeah, she definitely is pretty good. But yeah, I think this was a good conversation. I definitely learned a lot. Like especially it's just like opening our mind, like as believers being able to like accept like different forms of like the word from people. Yeah, I definitely think this was a good conversation. Right, yeah. We definitely gonna have to have a part two because if I kept going, we probably would have been on for another couple of hours.
Yeah, bro. No, but I
Absolutely.
appreciate you for even taking the time out your schedule, man, for having me on here too, man.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you for joining us too. Like taking time out of your schedule. Cause I know like how it is being busy and stuff and like a podcast, like it takes time to like just do things like that. So I definitely appreciate that. I know I was kind of late too, so I appreciate your patience. I know like you said you was working on that. So that's something I struggle with too, patience. So I definitely appreciate that. But,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
but yeah, I'm about to